we're now going to dive into understanding psychology of sales. So to effectively engage our clients and get them to buy, we need to understand the buying journey, which is going to involve 3 stages that they go through: awareness, consideration, and decision. So awareness, they recognize they have a need or pain, but they don't know yet how to solve that problem. So this is where awareness, this is where our marketing strategies tie in. So if we're not marketing online for a particular niche at all times and consistently putting out content around what that audience needs to solve their problems, we are not going to come into that funnel of awareness. We need to be consistent in what we're doing to help create awareness for that particular person so they can find out who you are, find out you're solving the problem, and then they move into consideration. So if we're not effectively posting online, how are we going to be in someone's awareness? That's for online. If we're in a gym, they're going to join the gym, so it's not really there. If we're not walking the floor and showing what we can do and helping people, we're not going to go into the awareness of people who aren't looking for a personal trainer right now, or maybe considering it but they haven't taken that next step to ask about it. Okay. So the next one is consideration, which is that most prospects will evaluate different solutions. So this is where we need to differentiate ourselves by highlight our unique offerings, our success stories, and client testimonials. How we do that is by our 3 pinned posts. There's my hand. If we have our 3 pinned posts where we tell our story or our authority post, we have a array of testimonials that we have and how we do things. That helps demonstrate to our client how we are different, and it allows us to be worthy of their consideration. This is why putting up social proof 2 times a day is really important, because if someone looks at us, we always want to make sure there's some degree of social proof in our social media, in our marketing, so then that person, when they look at us, they consider us and they actually go, you know what, this person may be the ideal fit for me. And then finally is decision. So when it comes to the decision, they've started working with you, they've done a consult, it's a sales process, they're on the call. We need to be aware that they want to make a decision at some point. And there's some use that you can do with sales and offers to get that through, but building up the ABC of sales, attunement, buoyancy, and clarity, will be far more useful. Now, a key point of sales is identifying the client's pain. Okay, so if we can understand the common issues that our audience faces and our niche, we can customize their pitch to address these concerns very directly. So, for example, if I have a client who's got lower back pain and I'm training in real life, the feature of the program may be a movement screen, which does that. How you present that to the client needs to be based around that pain. So with our movement screen that we have, we're going to be able to identify the causing factors of your back pain, what you can do, what you can't do yet, and what you need to do to get out of that pain. How does that help? Versus selling it as we offer a comprehensive movement screen where we ensure that you know how to squat, deadlift, do single leg exercises, and push. And we do that through a combination of movement screens, length tension assessments, and neuromuscular assessments. The one where you've identified the pain point and how that movement screen is a solution is the best way to do it. You could frame it even better by identifying the pain point first. And so for clients like you who've experienced low back pain, we've found the movement screen is a really awesome tool because it allows us to figure out for so many clients what they can do, what they can't do yet, and what they need to do. In fact, I just had Sarah the other day who had low back pain. She'd been stretching it out. We applied the movement screen and we actually found the problem was weak glutes. So we started working that, and now suddenly she's out of pain. So that there makes the sales process so much easier. Okay. And there's a couple of ways that we can build trust and rapport. So with sales, we want to be empathetic and also assertive. So we want to listen actively, ask questions, open-ended in particular, and listen to the responses. We're not just listening when we're doing a sale with a client or in the sales process to get to our next point in the script. We're listening so we can respond to their problem, identify their problem clearly, and then position our services as a solution to that problem. Now, empathy is very important because emphasizing where someone's come from demonstrates that you understand their situation and you're invested in helping them get out of it and succeed. This is really important for understanding your niche. If you understand the problems of a niche, you could probably start to understand how that makes that person feel. If you can understand how that feels, you can empathize with them. And then when you have empathy for them, yep, totally understand how you feel about low back. That must be really, tough, not being able to do the things you love and, hang out and pick up your kids and stuff like that. That must suck, hey? And I go, yeah, it really does. Cool. Our movement screen will allow us to blah, blah, blah. And that's how you can provide value to it. So you're going to actually look to solve their problems within the sales consult, Now, you're not going to give them the entire solution because that can't be done, but it's a really useful thing to do because then they start to trust you as the person who can do it. Now, our techniques for establishing trust, because we certainly need to establish trust. We need to be transparent, be open about what people can expect, avoid hidden fees. So this is why I get really annoyed when certain direct debit systems will charge the client X amount of dollars if they miss a payment. That stuff pisses off clients no end because it's never transparent about. Don't overpromise. Don't say that you can do things that you can't do, because you need to be transparent about it and be transparent that there's work involved. Now, consistency all the time. Consistency is more in how you actually reach out to that person. So how you talk to them, how you behave, etc. If one day you're chewing gum and you're looking disheveled and one day you're looking good, it's just very incongruent. So always have a level of professionalism and consistency. Have as many success stories and testimonials as you can. In a commercial gym, you can have a folder of them. You can have an Instagram account of them. There's a number of ways that you can do it. And then find common ground with people. A lot of the time in PT, it's about creating a relationship with the client, and rather than just the service that you offer. People are going to trust you with their time, money, energy, and effort. So you need to work on forming that personal connection. Just finding something common that you have is a great way to start some small talk around it. Okay? Now, we need to have a good first impression as well when we've gone through these stages and they're starting to look at you in consideration. So again, this is why we have our social media accounts. We create templates for you guys to use so you have a professional appearance. In the gym, have a professional appearance. You know, look good when you're doing PT, your hair is done, you're not wearing excessive jewelry, you're wearing a gym outfit or a professional workout outfit. That kind of stuff really does matter. Now, warm greeting, you always want to be, warm and welcoming to clients. You don't want to go, hey, how you doing? And it just sets the whole conversation up on the wrong foot. It's kind of like going on the first date. You want to give a good impression. Now, articulate the value proposition. So if you can talk about how your services benefit their problem early in the conversation, that basically really helps create a whole degree of rapport between you and the client. And then follow up. So after every consultation or every experience with the client, send a message or something like that, just touching base with them, or an email to show that you're actually caring about them and they're at the top of your mind. So you're focused on getting that person a particular outcome. If you don't do that, you'll lose people in the follow-up. A lot of the time, people aren't going to buy on the first exposure to you. You need to keep on coming up in their mind so they do give you that consideration that you're due to get. So it's really important to always do follow-up. Most good sales professionals will do follow-up anywhere between 7 to 11 times with a prospect if they have a good feeling that that person's going to buy. If they don't, they'll still do a follow-up. They just may not pursue it for as long. Okay? So how do we apply a sales framework? We can be empathetic. Very important to do that. Solve problems rather than sell. We're trying to solve problems. Our job is solving problems, not selling. Okay? So if we do that, there's a cost for the problem to be solved, but that person generally understands that. If anyone has a problem and someone can solve that problem for them, they will pay whatever it costs, as long as the problem is important enough to them. So I always use the example of going to the dentist. If you've got a tooth falling out your mouth and it hurts like hell, you will pay what it costs to get that problem fixed. Be authentic, and then have a sense of reciprocity. Give people stuff for free. Give them free consults. Give them like a little bit extra, because that type of stuff also creates a little bit of a psychological debt that person feels obligated to pay you back, or perhaps works with you, and they also think that you're more valuable from that. So guys, that is some really good information on understanding the psychology of what happens in a sales consult.